Hello, Sudoku friends, and welcome to the January 28th edition of the New York Times Hard Sudoku puzzle. Today, earlier than usual, and certainly earlier than yesterday and the day before. I don't know what's up with the New York Times. It should be so easy for them to set up a batch job that generates the puzzles and publishes them at any given time. I have no idea how their IT department functions. But we are grateful that it's here and I can get it over and done with, hopefully, before I have to go out and go shopping for food. I need to prepare myself for the upcoming Tet holidays here in Vietnam, when stores and markets will be closed for days. Here's what I see. You know, the 2, 3, 4, and a 7 must go in these squares here. That leaves a 1, 8, and a 9 for these squares, and therefore 5 and a 6 for these squares. Can I use that for anything? I wonder. Not immediately. Not immediately. But at least we know what these two must be, 5 and 6. We have 2, 3, 4 blocking here. We have a 2, 3, 4 blocking here. We have a 3, 4 blocking here. So 3 and 4 go in 2 of these 3 squares. And a 2, of course, must go here, here, or here. But that's not quite enough for a continuation. For a possible later use, I'm seeing a 1 blocking up here and a 1 blocking across. So one of these is a 1. And a 4 will have to go either here or here because of these two 4s blocking. Eight will have to go here or here. 9s, I don't really know much about. 5 and 7 blocking here, 5 and 7 blocking here. So these two squares must be a 5 and a 7, mustn't they? So 5 and 7 here, and that leaves an 8 for this square. Like so. 5 and 7, as I said, therefore a 6 here. Now this can't be a 6, it must be a 5, and this must be a 6. That should help, at least some. Because now we have this 6 blocking across, and we have got these two 6s blocking here and here. So here's a 6. And a 1, 3, and a 9 now for these squares. Now it's clear that one of these is a 1. And this, therefore, has got to be a 1 because this 1 blocks across here. One of these is a 1 blocking down. This a 1 blocks down. Yes, here is a 1. So now it becomes pretty clear that these two squares must be a 3 and a 4. Because we got a 3 and a 4 blocking here, we got a 3 and a 4 blocking here. So 3 and a 4 go here. Therefore, we did have a 5 and a 7 up here. Remember, the 5, by the way, puts a 7 in this square and a 5 in this. So a 3 and a 4 here, that gives me a 2 here. What else can we see? 3, 4, and 9 here. 3 blocks down, here's a 3, 4, and 9 here. Didn't we say something about the 9s earlier? Yes, we did, but nothing that has any value in this pattern here. But since we know that these are a 4 and a 9, these have got to be a 7 and an 8. The 8 blocks over, so a 7 must go here and an 8 must go here. 3 and 4 here still, therefore a 1 and a 9 here. The 9 blocks over, here's a 1 and here is a 9. Now we have a 9 either here or here. I can't say much more about the 9s, not yet. A 4 definitely must go either here or here. So a 5 and an 8 for these two squares, because we have a 5 and an 8 blocking across, and we have a 5 and an 8 blocking down. 5 and 8 here and here. That leaves 3 squares to figure out. And they can't be 5 and 8. They must be a 2, 7, and a 9. So the 7, for obvious reasons, must go here or here. Therefore, we are going to have a 7 here or here. But a 2 and a 9 can go in all of these 3 squares, unfortunately. But if a 7 must go here or here, doesn't that restrict this square to the extent that it has got to be not a 7, I think a 1. Let's look at this square. It can be a 1, but not a 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, because a 7 must go here or here, 8 or 9. So yes, it is a 1. This 1 blocks up, this 1 blocks up here, this 1 blocks across, 1 must go here. And we're going to have a 1 either here or here. So the 1s are now also restricted to these 2 squares. And here now a 5, 7, and 8. Unfortunately, yeah, 8 goes here or here. 7 we don't know anything about. 5 goes here or here. I think we found the solution to the 5 and 8 here, because this 8 blocks up, this 8 blocks across. One of these 2 squares must be an 8 blocking down, so this must be the 5 and this must be the 8. And that gives me another 5, because this 5 blocks here, and this 5 blocks here, here, and here. This 5 also blocks here. So here's a 5. This 5 blocks across, this 5 blocks across, this 5 blocks up. Here's a 5. A 7 and an 8 for these 2 squares. That's easy, because the 8 forces a 7 to go here, and the 8 goes here. And now what? 2, 3, and 9 here. That is of little help. But we have another 5. This 5 and this 5 block these 6 squares here. And these 2 5s block these 6 squares. So this must be a 5. A 4 must go in one of these 3 squares. 7 must go here or here. 3 and 4. We still need to find a 2, 6, and a 7. 6 here or here, yes. I'm not quite seeing it. But right at the beginning of this solve, I figured out that these must be a 1, 8, and a 9. We have an 8 and a 9 now blocking here, so this has got to be the 1. And since this 1 blocks across here and this 1 now blocks up, we know that this is a 1. Now we have this 1 and this 1 blocking these 5 squares. This 1 blocks here and this 1 blocks here. So this has got to be a 1. 2, 8, and 9 now here. The 8 and the 9 block here, so here's a 2. The 2 now blocks down. Therefore, one of these is a 2 blocking across. Therefore, we have a 2 here or here. We also have a 9 here or here, because now we have a ghost 2 here plus a 9 blocking across these 2 squares. So here's a 2 and here's a 9 in these 2 squares. Therefore, we have a 6 and a 3 in these squares. The 3 blocks up, giving me a 6 here and a 3 here. This 3 blocks up, this 3 blocks up. Here's a 3. Now a 2 and a 9 here and a 2 and a 9 here. a 2 and a 9 in these two squares, and a 3 and a 4 in these. The 3 blocks down here, therefore this must be a 4. And now we have a 4 here and a 3 here. 2 and 7 here. What about all those newly found 3s? Can we do anything clever with those? 3 blocks over and over, 3 goes here, here. No, we also have 3s up here. So that's no good, not yet. 3, 6, and 7 here, however, can we use that for anything? Yes, we can. A 3 and a 7 block here, so here is in fact a 6. Which blocks here and here? This 6 blocks here, and this 6 blocks up. So here's a 6. Now, 7 and a 3 here. They will have to wait a little while longer. An 8 blocks up here and an 8 blocks across here. Here's an 8. And this, therefore, must be a 9. This is an 8 now, and this is a 9. 2 8s block here and here. This 8 blocks here, therefore we have an 8 here. 3, 5, 3, 4, and 7. 3, 4, 7 for these squares. 3 blocks here, 3 blocks here, 3 goes here. 7 blocks here, therefore we have a 4 here, and we have a 7 here. That gives me a 7 here now, and a 2 for this position. This square can only be a 4 now, and that solves the 4 and the 9 we had over here. Remember those? And this must be a 7. We know that one of these had to be a 7. The 7 now forces the 7 to go here in column 5. Now a 2 and a 9 for these two squares. We also have a 2 and a 9 for these two squares, but the 9 blocks. So here's a 2, therefore we have a 2 here, and we have a 9 here. And here the last number must be a 3. These were 2 and 9, so now the 9 blocks up. So here's a 2, and here is a 9. This 9 blocks here, therefore we have a 9 here. Oh, and this last square must be a 4, of course. And finally, a 2 goes here. That's it for today. Thank you for watching, and goodbye for now.